Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 3-year update of my Forever World. I started this back in my freshman year of college. It's actually been more than 3 years. It's been closer to 4, actually, but about a year ago, I posted the 2-year video, and this year I'm posting the 3-year video in my Minecraft Forever World. Of course, I've taken breaks on it, but I've always came back to it. And there's so much to show you guys. If you watched the last one a year ago, it's going to be somewhat similar. Like, it's going to be a lot of rehashed areas, but this is going to be more in depth. I'm going to show you guys a lot more of what I've built, and go through a lot of reasonings why. But we'll start with my base. So obviously I'm very high on this in the sky right now. But this is my skyscraper base, which has been my base for quite a while now, and I have no plans to change it at the moment, as it's the center of my city. It's the center of so many of my builds, many of which I have posted here on the last year. A lot of my major builds I've posted. So this is the center of my city. And that's what's here for, but let's fly down and show you the bottom part of this building. And there's definitely going to be things that I miss in this video, and you're just gonna have to accept that. So down here, and ignore the lag, it gets bad because all the chests. So this brings us up to the room that we were just in. And this is the skyscraper, and I wanted this view to be of the statue, and I wanted this to be open, and that's why I built it the way that I did. And this is actually all dug out and terraformed. But if we go down, everyone loves to see it, even though it lags my computer out, especially when I have shaders on, is my chest room. I keep it under here for lag purposes, and I won't move too quick because I don't want anyone to get motion sickness. But this is my chest room. It has not changed for the longest time. I've done basically temporary things in here, like for when I'm building, or if I just need somewhere to put my shulkers, I do that over here. But if we go back out, we get to my super ice highway. So we'll go over there eventually and all this good stuff. But this is one of my latest builds, so if you've been keeping up with recent videos, this is my super ice highway. Although what hasn't been shown in my recent builds is I have extended it so I can go straight here. And then that brings me to the end portal. And then that brings me to my dig site in the desert. And of course, this building, which we should go over pretty quickly. This building here is also another recent building. And what this building is currently is my super smelter. So I have my super smelter in here, and how this works is I have 2 carpet duplicators. One is turned off because it turns out I only needed the one. Need to empty that soon. So I put everything I want to smelt in here. That picks it up, brings it down into all these smelters, which are perfectly fueled from all the carpet duplication. And that all burns, goes down, and the extras go into the lava. And then everything I smelt go into these 3 chests. Although it actually isn't big enough for what I want to do. And I may extend it or build another one over here. But if we go up here in the elevator, we make it to this floor. Another empty floor. And this is going to be a future villager trading hall. But if we go up, and of course the architecture, it's like a Gothic style. If we go up one more, past that floor, this brings us to my planning boards. And this really shows like everything that I want to do. And there's a few things not on here, but that is what this building is currently used for. Not much. I know it's a really big building and there's not a ton in here yet, but it will eventually fill up. I have plans for it. It's just not things that I want to build at the moment. And all of these flowers, yes, I needed to build a flower farm for all of these. But what also hasn't really been shown in the video is there's now walking pathways everywhere. And this is really a part of the city which I want to expand to. Where I built this is going to be like in the corner. Because it's quite literally in the corner of my ice highway. And I want to build in this area here. And I have a little path here for now. And this was also recently built. All of this area, including that, which is my mob farm, was all recently built. With my little bridges and my little pathways. And if we go over here, this is actually a new pathway, which brings me all the way back to my last base. But, and because this is all part of interconnecting my world a lot more, one comment that I really took to heart from a video was someone once said, my world feels a bit lifeless, and I really wanted to make sure it didn't feel that way. So I have little homes, which I actually used this to sleep in when I was building the pathway. And when someone said, oh, my world feels a little bit lifeless, I wanted to do a lot more to make it feel like more to life. And just things like this, where it's still part of nature, I feel like it really brings it more life. Versus something like that, where the environment around it isn't really incorporated. So what I'm really trying to do with my builds now is incorporate them into the world, or just build them in a city. So really incorporate things together. And this pathway is really something that's important in doing that. But we won't walk to the end of it, and I do have a map because we're only about halfway through it. So let me go back to this. This is my mob farm. And here, I want to start over here because this is like my grand pathway over to it. So this is my grand pathway. And this was the original like inspiration, I would say, for those bridges. I did switch up the design though because I wanted those to be a little bit more cohesive. But if we come over here, and the interior is not really decorated, I don't have plans to. I have 2 pipes where mobs fall and die, and then all of their goods get collected. It doesn't really run when I'm not near it, so, but I'm also just one person playing in this world, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference. And then this is a trash can, so if we have my rotten flesh, we can just throw that away in there. Now, if we go up here, this is literally the redstone clock that runs it all. Because this is all my own design, with inspiration from different things that I've seen online. But this is literally the redstone clock that runs it. And then that redstone goes up and then goes into each of 9 pillars. And those 9 pillars spawn mobs, and the water gets turned on and off. It all goes into the water and they all fall down. And then this is the inside where I wanted to make it feel like a whole nother world in here. Like when you're in here, you aren't really looking out. Almost like a Simpsons dome, like from the Simpsons movie. I got some inspiration from that where they're stuck inside. And that's really what I was inspired by. So when you're standing in the middle, you actually can't see out because the ground level goes up. But if you want a more in-depth, detailed guide of this, I do have a video on my channel of this. It will be linked in the description. But if we go on back here, and of course this is a little unfinished area, but just some landscaping I believe will do good here. If we go back over here, we get to my hideously ugly birch tree farm. I don't have any automatic wood farms in this world, so I build this so that way they're all uniform height, and I can just run in between them and destroy all of the trees really, really quickly. But it is hideous, it is ugly, I know, especially when I have this beautiful building and this beautiful building. And down here is a subway. But this building, and we'll just briefly go into this, this is like a memory hall. So I'm going to add things in here over time. I write in the books and then I add them in. If we keep going up, so all of this will, get filled in over 50 plus years or so, what I'm thinking. We have little journals in my office, and then this brings us to the roof. But first, we should sleep. So this is my office right here. And then this is literally just where I have some book and quills. Normally there's more. And I just write in here, and then I put them in the journals. This is almost like a library. I won't read these journals because they are personal. And I actually need to write more in them. But this is pretty much like the library and memories building. I built it a little bit too big, but that's fine. And if we go outside here, well, before going down into the subway, because that's just a transportation system, we should walk over here. And this area here is basically inspirations from previous worlds that I had with my friends, where I built the lighthouse tower on one. I had a base like this, but a lot bigger. And I one time built a subway, or not a subway, but I lived there. And these, I was kind of thinking, like, if I ever have friends, they can live in these. But that's basically just, a little part of the city. Then across this way, we won't go through it. We won't play it. We have my golf course, which is only a 9-hole. I never ended up doing all 18. And it is actually playable. So you have here, you have the hole and the par, and you have to use ender pearls to go over there and try to make it into the hole. And we'll just fly through a little bit. So you have like this hole here where it's a dogleg right, and then you go up here, and then you have another dogleg right, and then you'll start up here, and so you gotta shoot up the hill. And then it gets into like a little mountainous zone, and you shoot across here this way. And it's fun to play. So I still need to set the par for it. Now, if we go back this way, just a little green area. And this entire island that I'm on, this was all flattened and this is all terraformed. None of this is natural. This is another super smelter, which was my super smelter for a very, very long time. And remains functional, but we can actually turn it off for now. And if we continue going this way, this was just a little shack that I built because I thought it looked cool. I thought about like putting an end portal in here or something, but never ended up getting to it. So it just kind of sits here vacant. But this building, or this little compound here, is a lot more important because this is my nether portal, where we also won't go into this yet, but that brings me into my nether transport system. And that is actually chests left over from when I flattened and terraformed this entire area. But I spent a lot of time on this build, and I really wanted to make it feel like its own world inside of this, and I think I did a good job. Now, if we want to come over here, you can probably guess what this is. This is my sheep farm, with every single colored sheep. If we just go up all these levels, we have every single type of sheep. And down here, there's all these sheep here. And then if we go behind, we have my chicken farm, which I will happily collect. Then if we keep going back this way, we have my map room. And then this was originally, so this was the first thing I built over here because I needed another base away from my old base for when I was building this area and terraforming this. And so this was built to have a bed, and now it's not useless, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have much purpose. And wow, you can tell I have not updated these maps in a while because there's something missing. So I need to update these maps. It doesn't have the ice highway or anything. It's actually kind of cool seeing all this, where this is what it all used to look like. It's been expanded a lot, of course. But if we keep going on with this tour, because I know this is a long video, and I do hope you watch all of it. But we have my little cherry blossom forest, and then in here, where this actually was recently built, but already doesn't have much of a purpose, is my coal room. Well, I guess it does have a purpose. This is specifically where I smelt my charcoal for torches, because I don't actually mine for coal, but I still need a ton of torches, so I get charcoal and make them into torches, and that's my specific smelter for that. So everything has its own purpose. But if we come over here, and I don't know why it's lagging so bad, let me go figure that out. As always, it was a Windows update. But in here is my other little library, and I don't really have a use for enchanting anymore, but this is going to be an enchantment table down there at some point. But this is my little library. I love it. Just kind of adds to this little city area. And you probably are noticing there's a lot of builds that don't necessarily have a purpose, and that's all part of this world. Now, before we go in here, I want to show you guys this little thing. So, it's important to realize this world had humble beginnings. This is my last remaining piece of the original land here before the flattening, the Plains biome, in August of 2022. So that's almost 3 years ago where I built this. So I think this world is actually 4 years old, but the title says 3. And this is what it all looked like. It was a Plains biome, and I flattened it all down, put grass, and built a city on top of it. But that's what it used to look like. It was kind of hilly here. But that is another subway station. Let us go in here, which this has been modified. This entrance actually wasn't an entrance. And if we go down here, we have my sheep and my cows. And this is basically, if I want to build a farm for anything, I can. I just have these here. And my cactus farm, and all of these cactuses get picked up by the water, go down holes in the middle, and get collected in the middle. And since I built this, funny enough, I have never had a use for cactuses. I built this cactus farm, and I have not used cactuses at all. So leave it in the comments if you guys are watching what purpose for like this many cactuses. Because I mean, I have chests and chests full of cactuses that aren't useful. And this is the iron kelp. This is from a YouTube video. You'll have to search it up, but just search up iron kelp Minecraft farm. And this is a double level one where it spawns iron golems up there. They fall down the middle, fall in the lava, and then neatly get sorted into my chests. It's very full at the moment. Unevenly full, but that's fine. And that gives me all the iron I'll ever need. And this was supposed to be like a little staff room. This just had some chests in here when I was building all of this. And then this is just another walkway to the cactus farm. And down here, it's pretty rare that I go mining. But my mine is down this way. And of course, this was all terraformed as well. This was a naturally occurring cave, and then I terraformed it into how it is now. And then that goes all the way down to deep slate and bedrock for diamond mining and deep slate mining, because honestly, I don't need to mine for minerals, but I need to mine for deep slate for my builds. And there is a beacon down there, and that makes it easy and a little bit quicker to mine for deep slate. So if we come on back up here and we head on outside this way, we have my bamboo farms. So, and you know, like many things in this world, this area is not done. I don't have a purpose for it yet, so it does kind of just end abruptly. But this is my bamboo farms. And it's not super efficient, but it gives me all the bamboo I need for scaffolding. I don't really need anything more. In fact, I started building this and then it just kind of didn't have a reason to, because I don't actually use bamboo that much. Although with the bamboo wood blocks, it might actually come in handy. Now, if you look down here, this almost looks like creative mode, because why would you just dig a massive pit? So we'll go down here. We are on the inner workings of the subway. And I guarantee that I did not just clear this out. I didn't set all this to air. I actually did dig this all out by hand. This was going to be an underground casino, and then I didn't like that idea, and I put a subway here instead. And I had this idea like, oh, it'll be like a hidden casino underneath the subway, but then I came to the realization, if you build stuff underground like this, no one ends up seeing it. Like there's no, like you'd have to specifically come down here, and that is cool sometimes, but it's not really what I wanted for this big of a build. For that big of a build, I want it to be seen. I want people to see it. Which I guess we will take the subway right after I sleep. And down into the subway we go. It is basic looking, and that's for a reason. It's a subway. I didn't go over the top with any of my transportation systems yet. And down here is the subway station. There is room for another line. And I actually do have plans to build another line. We open up the map here. This is where I am now, kind of like a city center. And then the second line, I needed to go here and out, and I wanted to connect up here. I want this to be like a central station where you can take almost everything. And then that line, I also wanted to extend out this way or connect to this line of that gets above ground all the way to my old base. But I don't want to spoil you guys too much on the map. So let's go ahead and take the subway. Because it is pretty unique. It's slow, but it's just a nice little way to get around my city. It brings us up here, up and around into the Old Town area, and gives a nice view of the farms. And then this was a build, I think I showed it off in a recent video. But don't worry, I will talk about it eventually. And then it brings us back down into the subway system. And this area, or this first stop, will be the Cherry Blossom stop, which we already showed, so we don't really need to go up. Where is the button? It should be here somewhere. Ah, there it is. But if we continue onwards, it brings us to the second station, or the second stop. And this stop is also pretty close. This isn't a very... I never take this subway, to be quite honest with you. And this station is the second station, where if we go up here, it's that first station that I talked about. Go up, 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 all the way, and it brings us back to my main base. Now, let us continue on this way. The sheep is what lags it out, by the way, not my fault. Where we have another wood farm, which I still use, just like my birch farm, because I don't have automatic wood farms. Although this one's not as good because it's not perfectly set up. But if we continue going this way, it brings us out of my oak farm and into my mega spruce tree farm. And this works well. I also like it because it gave me another reason to build a bigger building with the trees inside. So it works out well. Now that brings us out this way, where this was a unique waterfall. because I wanted to build a building into a waterfall, and it turned out really nice. And that statue is also one of the first things I built on this island. And what makes it so cool is it's Asuna from SAO, the anime. I used a template online and I built it from there. But if we go inside this building here, which is behind the waterfall, with the massive trees on top, almost like overgrown, it is a villager trading hall, and this is how I get all my emeralds. So this is not like enchanting things, it's only farmers in here. So if what was that? So it's only farmers, and that's basically been fine for now, but I can extend it up here, add more villagers, and keep going up if need be. But it works for now. I don't really have a reason to extend it. It looks good. And I do a lot of like manual crop farming from here still. And I have my crop storage in here in the little silo. So this works out. That's actually good to know that I have sugarcane here. I'm building an automatic sugarcane farm because I actually do need to mine that. But before we go over that bridge, we'll walk through the farm a little bit. And this I had like inspiration from like Italy, where they have these beautiful bushes and like everything's kind of grown over. So like I wanted this, it used to be a fence and then it all became leaves. And that's really what I wanted my farm to look like. Like it's on the edge of the city. It has like an Italian Tuscan town over there. And I extended it from there. But here, this time we'll actually just fly over very, very quickly. We'll go over there soon. But we can get into Old Town. And this is Old Town because this is some of the first builds that I built, and it's all in a cohesive style. Where we have a little pillager church. Once again, no real purpose to the building, but I think it looks cool. A train station, which we will come back to later, where we have the 2 tickets and customer service. And if we go up here, we have the 1 train, which brings us back to my old base. And then this says work in progress because I haven't needed to build anything yet. Although I want to connect this to the subway station and maybe extend it onward. But because at the moment I have like the central subway station, I have the ice highway station, and I have this train station. So I really need to knock it down just this. Or just one. Where I want to combine all of them into one station. And I think that's going to be a good idea. Now, if we come in here, this is my hotel. It looks quite empty because, quite frankly, I don't want people staying here. And why? It's not actually a hotel. It's an automatic melon and pumpkin farm. And this uses the observer and pistons method. So when that grows, it sends off a signal, which sends the pistons off. And then the pistons push the melons or pumpkins down into the water streams. And then those water streams all connect over to this way, down here. And it brings it all the way to these chests, which are embedded in the floor. And I threw a lot of these farms in. And you can tell this is full. And I exchanged all of these for emeralds. But it isn't just a melon and pumpkin farm. If you go up here, this actually connects to my oakwood farm. And if you stay in here, there actually is a few, or this is the hotel suite. But if we stay on this level, we have hotel rooms, just 2, really, really basic ones. Just two hotel rooms, but that's really all you need. Or if someone want to put chests in there, that they can. And that is my hotel. This connects to an upper level. And if we continue going up, the suite I actually do use because it's another spot where I'm able to sleep if I need to. So if we go up here, I have the bedroom up here. And from the bedroom, it brings us up onto the grass area, which I wanted to show this, where this is like a little park up here. You can't actually get up here, but it has the skylights for the farms, and it's just a little green roof. And it's nice. But if we continue onward with Old Town, oh, and that just brings you up to the roof. We have this, which is like a boat launching dock, and you can launch your boats off that way. And we have some more melon and pumpkin storage. And if we keep walking this way, we get into the little village. Now, this was an experimental build for me because I typically build things very big and not very detailed. So I wanted to build things that were small and detailed. And I think it turned out great, where everything has a bed. And the idea behind this little village is, if I ever have friends who come and play on this world, which I haven't opened it up to them at all, they can use these as their homes. So it has tons and tons of rooms for my friends where they can come stay and play with me. And there's a little farms throughout with things growing. So it's like you can get food if you need. And all of them have a good amount of room. But the other thing that I was really working on was forced perspective. Where if you look this way, yeah, you see that. But when you come into this village, like I put that there, you don't really see out of it. And even when you look in the windows, you can look through and you can see other things, but you can't look out of the village. So everything in the village, when you're in the village, you shouldn't be able to see out of it. Like you can't, if you're on the inner walkways, you can't look out and see out. You can only catch glimpses of the outside world. And that's like this, you'd have no idea you're in the middle of a city. And that was the whole point and goal of this little village, was to test my building of small spaces. And I think it turned out great. I think it looks amazing. I'm happy with how it turned out. And this is definitely like a good building style for me. And of course, wheat farms for, once again, if people join me, it kind of gives them a good start where they get a bed. And we will actually sleep through the night once again. Now that the rain has stopped, we will continue our tour back this way through the old town once again. And I tried to make this look a little bit overgrown. This is some of the earliest builds, and that's where the subway pops out. But that's actually the end of the tour for my main island and city area here. I think we hit everything. Well, not stadium yet, but we have my main base, and we have the mob farm and the planning area. So that's almost, then that's the main city done. That's everything that I built in this main city so far, until we go cross over this way. Oh yeah, this was the first bridge that I built to the island, even though it actually goes nowhere. And this brings me to a little restaurant. So this is a little restaurant I built, where with the bar up top, and this just like have fun, you can get grog, whatever you want. And we have the kitchen back here with nothing actually in it, but that's fine. But that's the restaurant, and then a little seating area out here where it's just nice to come and sit and hang out. And if we continue on this way, this is a really important area specifically for YouTube, because this is my thank you garden. So if we keep walking this way, and this was inspired from like clips of Skyrim that I've seen. I've never actually played the game, but I got inspired by it. So if we keep heading on this way, we get to my thank you garden. And you can tell, once you cross out of the island, it gets a lot more rural, and that was on purpose. And I did add some of these built-on signs. And then this is everyone who I think. I always shout someone out from my videos, and I put their name on a sign, and I put it here. And this is my little thank you garden for YouTube. And it has plenty of room to expand. This whole area is like reserved for it. And if we come down this way, it's just a small little thing. But my 100 subscriber garden, where each subscriber is one flower. And like these are all my first 100 subscribers, where you're all one flower. And I just want to say thank you once again for all of that. But we shall continue onward. We'll go back to the restaurant over here. And once we're back on the restaurant, we'll walk this way, just taking this back path. This actually was going to originally be my pathway to the end portal. I kind of stopped doing that. It only goes to the water at the end now, and now you can take a boat instead, which I think is a better idea. But this kind of gives me the ability to expand the city northward at any point if I want to. But I have built all the way out here, where this is a completely custom cherry blossom biome. This was not a cherry blossom biome before. This is just like a plains and oak forest biome. And this was kind of like, once again, just like a serenity where I'm able to walk through, feel at peace, a little bamboo grove, and a little cherry blossom forest. And this is actually a little statue. Oop, that just grew. This is a little dog statue that I did. And if we keep coming this way, this brings us onto like the beach, where I figured people from the city can come out here, relax, see the Torii Gate. There's this little shrine or structure that I built, and you can go through the bamboo forest. But if we take this up to the floating island, and this is of course a custom floating island as well. This, if I had extended my render distance, would give a great view of the city from afar, with another little lake and bamboo forest. But if you go down here, ooh, the nether. It's the nether down here. It's scary. This is like the corruption of the world. And that's really all this is for, with the little pathway coming out from the cave. But I thought it was really funny for a video where if I came out of this cave, acted like, oh, I'm just like in the plains biome, but I'm actually on a floating island. And I love it. But that's about as far north as I've built, except for this pathway, which continues on forever. Doesn't go anywhere except for the water at the very, very end. So we don't need to do that. But now let's actually go to my old and previous base. For that, we will end up taking the train. Oh, gosh, I almost forgot my stadium. Now, we shall, and then this is, oh yeah, this is my walkway from behind the Cherry Blossom Park, going this way, across this bridge. Oh, and that's where you can launch boats from. Across this bridge, you get to the stadium. And I built this stadium somewhat recently, as with many large builds and projects, because of my love for basketball, and more specifically San Diego State basketball. I try to go to every single game that I can. I try to watch every single game. And I have SDSU, which is the college I graduated from, up there. And this was kind of like a basketball stadium, which I wanted to build for the school. And I took inspiration from like different builds that I've seen online to build this amazing roof. So I didn't actually need to put lighting in here, because the lighting just looked pretty ugly, if I say so myself. And it's a little basketball court. It's not playable, maybe someday. But it's not playable, but I do like it when you're in here. It's a little bit ugly on the outside, but not too bad. But when you're on the inside, it's the most beautiful thing ever, and I love it so, so much. Now, if we come over this way, this is another pathway, which brings me back to my last base. And there is a minecart rail over that way, which we will eventually take. And this brings me to my last base, but if we fly really, really quickly, I have my flower farms where you can just bone meal, and then that places flowers. And then there's another one over here for different flowers, and I have one more on this side. Where is it? Where is it? I don't know where it is. It's somewhere, but or maybe it's up here. Is it up here? I don't know. But that was for my flowers and farming my flowers, because this is a flower biome. And that walkway is, once again, trying to keep my world completely interconnected. But we should take the railway, which is the original way I got from my old base to this base. So it's pretty special to me. Oh, we're just gonna have to push it. But this is my railway, and really how I went from one base to another. Which kind of allows me to talk a little bit about the future of this world. This gives me some time. And the future of this world is really, there's so much room to build, and there's so many things that I still want to build. And I'm going to continue playing on it. I have no plans on ever leaving this world. No plans on really ever ending this or even stopping the YouTube series. I'm starting a job next week. Unless this video goes super viral, then I won't. But that's a far-fetched dream. So, and I just want to continue building. Oh, that is a failed slime farm. So that's just a hole in the ground. But yeah, that's a failed slime farm. Does not work. And this railway brings us all the way. That pathway that I just went along is off to the right there. You'll see it in a little bit. But, oh yeah, this little bridge here. It's actually been a long time since I've taken this railway. For many reasons. It's quicker to fly on Elytra, and it's quicker to fly through the Nether. And I will show the Nether at the end of the video. That will be my final surprise. Oh, rabbit. But it is beautiful just going through the canyon. Oh yeah, there's the walkway and the flower farm that I showed. But we should continue on this way. Just keep on going. This entire world is interconnected. This is slow, and eventually I want to build an ice highway to my old base because my mending villager is still here. So I still do have a reason to come this direction. And of course you can tell this is definitely older because I didn't do the walls here. Versus my other subway system, I would have completely done the walls here. Versus letting this be like this. But we're almost there. I do hope Minecraft speeds up minecarts eventually because this is just a drag. And we will leave the minecart here. And if we go up here and leave this little train station, we get one of my original bases. So this was my original bed, which we'll actually go to sleep in. And this original bed this was like my first skyscraper, even though it's actually really small compared to what I build now. I had a spruce forest farm here where this was supposed to collect the saplings, and then the saplings would go down. It's pretty useless, actually, and I end up just falling off like I did there. And this was my original base. This was like a little castle town, and I wanted it to get super tall, and then like everything's just in the sky, but that never ended up being the case because I ran out of room. I didn't like how things were going. And this was my original base. Like this was my chest room. And my original to-do list. Let's see what have I done? Nether pathway, new base, done. End portal upgrade, done. Finished new base, kind of done. It's never really done. Wither skeleton farm, never done. Upgrade XP farm looks. I mean, kind of done. Build creeper farm, didn't do, but my mob farm's sufficient enough. But this is my base, and I just outgrew it. I ran out of chest room. I started building way too big. And you come out here, and this was supposed to be like a crystal. And this building's actually pretty much empty, but I loved it anyways because I squeezed it in this massive building with my automatic super smelter in here. And then if you go up here, there's actually a badly functioning, but it is functional, bamboo farm where it farms the bamboo and goes down for fuel. You can see all the way up to the top there, but We don't need to go all the way up there. That's just spending too much time. There's nothing to see. But this is also like just all part of my base where I wanted to incorporate all elements. It's smaller, nothing, and didn't have anything to put in here. Nothing really fit the space. I thought about adding a second chest room, but then I'm like, I don't want my chest room to be split up. So I just built a whole new base. And if we go down here, and this is underneath the main pathway, kind of symbolizing the shift to the nether portal. And that's my original nether portal, where this room kind of like goes down and falls into the cave system. And of course, there used to be fish in here at some point. I don't know what happened to them. So, yeah, there's no more fish. This little pathway, I shouldn't say little, is just a pathway to the outside of the mountains. So we'll go on outside here because, yeah, it's in the middle of the mountains and I got tired of always climbing over it. So I built this pathway so you can run through it and you can get in and out of the mountains a lot quicker because I didn't have an elytra for the longest time. So I built this, and it's funny to think, but these builds took a long time to do because of all the wood. And this is just like my pathway to the outside world. And if you look around, it's all surrounded by mountains. We'll go through those builds soon. And if you come up here, this is an unfinished, but I'm actually going to soon finish this, where I thought about having a building and a pathway, where I continue to work on this. But this is my pathway to that original path I showed you really early on in the video, where if you come on out here, this goes 2 ways, where that brings you back to my new base, and that also brings me back to my new base. So this kind of brings you directly, and then this kind of brings you through the city route. But it all works out, brings you around that mountain over there. And this one's not lit up in dirt. This one is lit up and is stone the entire way. So let's fly on back in here. Got a little bit stuck there. That's the other reason why I want to extend this and expand this. I'm going to make it look like the other one in there. So we have this little castle wall, and this was like to keep out the baddies. And I thought, oh, I'll build this whole castle town on here. It'll be huge. It's not that big compared to what I build now. Like I really ran out of room here. And if you come out here, we have this little custom like wheat and spruce biome. And the funny story behind this is, if you didn't know, spruce trees, when they grow, they get this crap. And you can't grow wheat on this, which I didn't know. So I grew all these trees, and then I had to dig all the grass out to place normal grass. And that sucked. But if we come over here, we have a little custom lake, and then this is all stone underneath here. And you might have caught the little secret entrance. And if we come up here, this is my Gardens of Babylon, where this is my first kind of foray into the gardening world of Minecraft, where I wanted kind of the hanging gardens of Babylon, and I think it looks really good, especially when you're up here, and with this all has water flowing, and there's just water incorporated into all of it to hydrate the plants. All custom little mini trees, which I did because I didn't want the trees getting too big. And this was all to hide if we fall down here, where I say hide, it's not really hiding. But if we swim under here and up here, we have my bamboo farm and my sugarcane farm, along with an automatic chicken farm, which I will steal more chicken, and an automatic cow farm over here, where if you, oh wait, no, that's the breeding area, and then the cows fall down there once they've grown up. And then if we go all the way up here, this is like a little automatic farm where you can flip these levers and everything flows down into the chest, and it works out really well, which is actually more automatic than my current farm. And we are under the gardens here, so if we continue onward, we'll get into one of my, this was like my first mega build, I would say. Actually, before we get into the mega build, we'll walk through this area here to my original dirt hut. This was the very first base that I had. It was a dirt hut. I slept here my first night in the mountains and nothing was around. It was a completely different environment. And I changed it into a mine shaft because I had a ladder going down. But I had my bed here and a chest and a smelter back here. And that's my first night in this world. And now I have pathways that are bigger than that. So if we go all the way up to here, we get a nice view of what this all looks like into the snowy part, which, yeah, I didn't know this was going to be snowy. So this was part of the reason why I built this, or I wanted a new base, because I'm like, if I build in the mountains, it's just going to be covered in snow, and I don't want to build like that. Where I still think this is one of the most beautiful builds I've ever done, with a copper roof. And if you come over here is my villager trading hall, which is still my villager trading hall, actually. I still use this. Not really the farmers, but my mending villager is here. So, and he is discounted. So, shout out to him. And these are all my villagers for enchantments, where these ones aren't set, but some of them are set. Like this is my Unbreaking 3 and my Fire Aspect 2 villager. My Silk Touch villager, and then, yeah, oh, I don't know what happened to him, but different villagers for different things, and there's room to expand it, where I have my villager breeder over here, and then you can collect them on a minecart and put them in. But if we continue on to this way, we get to my original iron farm. And this, yeah, it's off-center. Don't worry about it. Not my fault. And this is my original iron farm. So I built it outside. It's the exact same design as my current one. And it works just as efficiently. So, oh yeah, I've collected all the iron from it all the time. But it's just as efficient. Works just as well. Exact same design. This one's just outside. Which I actually kind of like. I actually really like the look of this one. Like when you're actually looking at it. It's out of wood too, and there's lava in there. So it's pretty sketchy. This little pathway was also just heavily inspired. I loved it. And this just all for the iron farm. And you can tell I really want to start building bigger, and I didn't really have room without destroying the mountains, so I had to expand to the city. And this was my original base for the longest time, until I ran out of room here, and I didn't really feel like building anymore in here. You can tell this roof never even, this is my last build here, and this roof never fully oxidized. That roof did. It looks great. But yeah, this roof never fully oxidized. So you can still see like copper in here. Once again, the snow pisses me off. Also, a big part of this was lighting up the entire castle city. And that worked out really well. And all of it really does come together well. So we will go to sleep again, and we wake up in the morning. And that is the entire first base here. But I promise you guys I'm going to show you the nether, and then I'm going to take the ice highway and go to my end portal, because that's really fancy. So the video's not over yet. This is my longest video ever. So I do hope you guys enjoy if you are still watching. This world has been years and years and years of effort. And we go to the nether, where this is pretty ugly, but you might notice. Oh, there's a little ice highway. Yeah, this was the original ice highway in here. It's not really useful. So instead, oh, and I do have walking pathways to everything. I'm gonna expand those actually. But if you come over this way, you can fly throughout my nether. That was the whole idea, is like keeping it pretty cohesive. And this portal brings you back to my original base. You can see the walking pathways. But if you fly over here, you get to my end portal. And that's super convenient because you can just fly throughout the nether. But if you fly on this way, through here, and then all the way, and I call these my nether tunnels, over to here, this brings you to a desert biome where I get all of my sand. So you go through there, and that's how I get all of my sand. And I feel like this is a really unique way to build in the nether, like building these tubes and kind of letting the nether be. We totally got him. And this was a really unique way to build in the nether. I haven't really seen anyone do it. And if we fly all the way over, or where is it? I think I went too far. I did go too far, I think. So up here is, this brings me to like a little flotation raft, which we will go to. And this is like a little paradise thing, where it's like a little survival raft with food, and there's a boat down there with like a bed and things. And I never put in this little prison if I need to. And I never finished it because it's ugly and I don't like it. I finished the boat though. Oh, I have some shulkers over there. I should take those shulkers back because I'm never going to finish this build. I don't like it. So I'm taking my shulkers back. So let me take those back. And let me go all the way up here. And I'm going to go back because it's just in the middle of the water. And the water's very pretty, but there's nothing over here that anyone really needs to see. It's just my little survival raft. I thought about making a little like mini series on here, but I just got bored. So we will go back, and then if we go, where is it? I kind of forget where I built it. Aha, there it is. Yes, if we go over this way, this brings me to a build which also I haven't shown off on video. Hello, cows and chicken, and okay, that's fine. Through another tunnel, where this brings me to my ice spikes biome, where I've built these little walls. I'm gonna flatten this out because this is where I get all the ice from my from my ice highways, and I'm still expanding the ice highways, so I continually need more ice. And so this little temporary base works really, really well. And this is a massive ice biome. I'm going to destroy all of these, and all of these, and all of these. So even though this is technically like a temporary base for when I'm just mining ice, it's necessary. Especially because I want to sleep, and it works out well. So this is my little ice spikes biome, which is not really going to be an ice spikes biome for long, because I'm stealing all of the ice from it for all of my build and things. So we shall continue onward back to my city so we can actually take the ice highways. And as you can see, this nether system actually does work very, very well. I know some people build on top, but I like how this looks, and I'm going to actually expand the walkways, make it more clear on where to go. Wow, that is some lovely, lovely lag. So let's just head on over to my ice highway. I call this like my super highway. It's almost as fast as going into the nether sometimes. It's not all fast. And we should go, we can go left or we can go right. This brings me to the pit. So this is the most beautiful. And this is like a recent project, and I'm going to expand this because this is my high-speed rail system. Like, this is so much faster. It's huge. This stuff takes a lot of work to do. And it also brings me to this area, which I actually don't have another portal to. I have no reason to. And this little building is inspired by like Mexican pueblos. And we'll give a little fly around here. Hopefully, okay, good, I have more rockets. This is a custom mountain, so like this mountain wasn't here, but I need to build up for the Ice Spike Highway. You can go in here and you can see it's completely hollow. But that's nothing compared to if I fly over here, which is the purpose of, I need stone. And so this is like my stone mine. I'm going to eventually build this into something. But if I just need a ton of stone, I dig here. I know it sounds crazy to run out of stone and sandstone, but I do. I run out of stone all the time. And I needed a ton of sandstone and a ton of sand, and that provided it for me. So now we will take the ice highway all the way back, because this is just all one interconnected line, where this line brings me all the way to the end. But I'll stop talking for a little bit and I'll just cut to when we're further down. All right, and so we are passing the planning building and we're continuing onward. In this, you can see there aren't lanterns, so it's not done yet, but it's still perfectly functional at the moment. It brings me all the way to my end portal, and there's a right-hand turn here. And we keep on going this way, and this is really fast. You can see we are zooming by the environment, and this is my end portal. This station still needs to be built. I have a plan for it. I have a really cool plan for it, actually, and I'm really excited because I will show that off in a video. And if we fly all the way down here, we get to the nether portal and my end portal. But first, we're just gonna grab some more fireworks. And this is my end portal, where you can take the nether, or you can take the ice highway and come on down here. Where this entire world, I want to make it so you don't need an elytra to get around, even though right now you do at some points need an elytra to get around, but still pretty good. So we should go to my end, and there's not a ton in here. Like, I've built pathways, but really all that's in here in the last part of this video is my XP farm, and it's pretty basic but incredibly functional. Uh-oh. And that's why I got more rockets. So all the endermen drop down here, and I have like things in here for enchanting, my enchantment table, and this is just all ender pearls if I ever need them. This was supposed to be like an automatic trash. It never ended up working. But yeah, that's oh, and these are all one punch. So like, if you just want to repair your armor, you totally can. You can just punch them. It works out really well. And oh, I have a bunch of ender pearls in my inventory now. And I will never need to replace this because it's stupid efficient, and it's actually really, like, I know it sounds crazy. This was really big when I built it, but now it's actually just really small. And once again, I don't want anything to force you to have an elytra. So I have a staircase that brings you all the way back up to the island. And everything that I built is so big now that things just seem small in this world when I'm walking them. Where will this bring me? Did I sleep anywhere? Okay, good. And this brings me back to my original base, which I think is an amazing spot to end this video on. I want to thank you all so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. This is my longest video ever. I feel like I've been talking forever. I've been talking for almost an hour now. You noticed there was barely any cuts in this video if you've watched it all the way through. It is my extended yap session. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for continuing to watch, giving me the support that I need to keep going in this world and keep just going in general. Thank you all so much. And please leave as many comments as you can. Leave a like. If you've watched this far and haven't commented and liked, I don't know what you're doing. Please leave a like and comment. And if you aren't subscribed and you've made it all the way to the end, subscribe. Do that too. And thank you all so much. This has been an amazing journey so far, and I'm excited to continue to build and continue to post here on YouTube and continue onward. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all next time.